this weekend and over the next couple of days and stuff. Let's just reflect on those who serve and those who have served, and appreciate the freedoms that we have. And thank God for men and women who do step up in such a way to serve our country. So happy 4th of July. Today I'm excited about a new message series that we told you would be coming, and it's entitled You Asked For It. And what it was is we generated some questions, collected some questions from you, and we asked you to put them up here, and we gathered them. We had dozens of questions come in and stuff, and it was all about things that are on your mind, things that you pondered about. And so we're putting together some messages surrounding your questions. So today's message is faith when you can't see a thing. Faith when you can't see a thing. And it had to do with a lot of your questions, like, how do you believe and not see? And how do you become a Christian? How do you help someone become a Christian? And though there are some additional things we need to talk about, one of the foundational things in all those questions is faith. And I don't know that I can get that done in this message alone. It might have to be a part 2 to this. But because there's so many scriptures about faith in the Bible and how it's applied and who it was. There's several people we can look at, and walking in faith, having faith. And actually, Hebrews chapter 11, it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And how can we understand that? Well, maybe it's applying your hope in a way that supersedes how you feel. Now, what do you mean by that, Pastor Robert? Well, I might be asking God for healing, and at the same time I'm puking in the toilet. But I'm never in a place where I'm saying, God, why don't you hear me, boy? Why don't you heal me, boy? I'm not doing that. I'm doing, in the name of Jesus, I'm healed. It's kind of a bad title. Some people call it blab it, grab it kind of thing. But what I'm trying to tell you is faith is stepping out, even when you don't feel like stepping out. Faith is carrying the umbrella around, even though people say it ain't going to rain. But you got the umbrella. Because, we know the weather for the guy's always right. Listen. So today is faith when you can't see a thing. We've all been in a situation where life has hit us in our darkest moments. And if we all just kind of reflect for a moment, what has been your darkest moment? Oftentimes for me, it's in my work as a pastor and a trooper, I've come across having to explain to people lost loved ones and having to do funerals and stuff like that for whatever reasons. And it's in those darkest moments that people are more likely to misunderstand God. Because, and here's the thing, we try to look at God through the lens of grief. We try to look at God through the lens of hurt and pain, persecution, and it's not hard for me to understand why people misunderstand God. Because they're trying to look through glasses that they shouldn't be looking at God through. Their pain. Pain can block a lot of things. It can lie to us. Grief can depress us, put us in a place that we don't want to be. We start thinking about the value of our own life. You don't even go very far. This week, where a doctor goes into a hospital and shoots up the place. You seen that on TV? Yeah. You don't have to go too far back to see the last school shooting. Why is these people just, regardless of whether it's men, women, or children, why is these suicide bombers doing the things that they're doing? And so this message might be timely for you, I don't know. But I know it's for all of us because we all get into the place where we question God's existence. We question why God, if you're so loving and so good, why does bad things happen to good people? And we ask those questions, and we have to be real with ourselves. We're asking those questions through a lens of grief, pain, bitterness, offense, all those lenses. We're trying to see God in this broken world. You got to admit, at the end of the day, who's Isaac to step back and say, I fully understand God? Can the creation look to the Creator and ask Him why He has made you this way? Paul says it that way, and he says it in sarcasm in a way that says we shouldn't question God, we should question ourselves. We should question the motives of people around us. We should question where this world is. We shouldn't question God. But oftentimes we misunderstand God, and it's in us understanding that God's all-knowing and all-powerful, that something may have been done and could have been done, and at the end of the day, it's not God's fault. Sometimes people get sick and they pass. And the last time I checked, heaven's a perfect place. And when God created the world, God wanted to create a good place for people where they needed nothing. And man screwed that up. And when it happened, you're not disemboweling your life. You're glad you was born. You're glad you had a family. You're glad you're an adult. You're glad you're having a family now of your own and stuff. But this sickness thing, we question God with the cancer and everything. You know what? It's this imperfect world and the things that we are exposed to that brings these kinds of ailments upon us. And it's in those ailments that really kind of tell us where our faith stands with God. Will we trust Him? Will we trust friends? Will we trust our family? Will we trust God? Is God number one? It really puts things in perspective when things come our way. We have to understand faith is a fundamental part of every Christian's life. The Bible says without faith, it's impossible to please God. And so I'm glad you asked the question. I'm glad a lot of people are asking the question about faith. What is faith? How do I use it when I can't see a thing? And I hear you. I hear you. Doubting Thomas was in your shoes. He said, unless I put my hands on Jesus' touch his side, I'm not going to believe. But then Jesus said, we might get into that next Sunday, but then Jesus said something to him that we all need to hear. He said, blessed. He said, you believe because you've seen and heard and touched. He said, but blessed are those, you, every one of you. Blessed are you who believe and yet has not seen. Amen. So at the end of this whole thing, I have to conclude that Isaac has to get out of the pew and come to God on humbled knees and ask Him to come in my heart, be my Lord and Savior, step out in faith and believe that He is, and believe that God sent His Son over 2,000 years ago to die for my sins upon the cross, and that God raised Him again on the third day, and that there is a day appointed which no man knows, not even the Son, that God and His Son will return in victorious fashion to take those who believe in Him, who have died in the faith first, and those who remain caught up with Him together in the air, and we will forever be with the Lord. That is our hope. And Thessalonians tells us to remind one another of this hope. Why? Because we live in a world that really seems hopeless. And I got to tell you, in my line of work, I'm particularly drawn to drug interdiction, where I stop vehicles and I determine, not only for a primary reason that they're pulled over, but I determine if there's any illegal activity going on within the vehicle as it concerns with drugs. And the amount of drug addicts I come across, the meetings I attend to try to combat the opioid abuse in our nation, in our state, in our counties. And we have all kinds of clinics, and clinics are going to pop up. Treatment clinics are going to pop up. And then Narcan comes around, and everything you see that pops up to help seems to be abused, even that. There's people out there we Narcan about 4 times already. Or they would have been dead the first time. And it's easy to step back from that And I've been part of these meetings. I've not participated in the argument because I know where God's put me. But I've seen people argue in meetings that's supposed to come up with solutions. Some people say, let them die. Other people say, what about the value of life? Don't you care? Both make valid points. And the problem is we're losing hope in these people that need repetitive care, treatment, and attempts to try to save their life. And this is what I mean. You might come across a heroin or a pill addict and stuff, and they may have been in the treatment 15 times, but on that 16th time, and it might be 15 years after abusing the substance, but on that 16th time, the light bulb comes on. Something clicks. Their heart is engaged. They've got a path of hurt, pain, and theft and criminal activity in their wake. They're done. They don't want this life anymore. They're engaged, and all of a sudden the light comes on. And they turn their life around. And then they use their life to talk to your teenagers to help them steer away from it. I say it's worth it. But man, the road to watch the painful cycle of their lives, I tell you, standing before you, that I struggle in losing hope for them. I struggle with having faith in what God can do in their life. Because I hear the cries of the parents, they've stole everything that they could off of them. And the parents have to lock everything up or don't have anything to speak of. Done put their house up 4 or 5 times for bond because they've been in prison. They done jump bond 3 or 4 times. I mean, time and time and time again. It is hard to get people to continue to hope. But I think with understanding things comes knowledge, wisdom, and understanding the cycle of an addict and what they go through. At the beginning, it's just partying. But somewhere in the middle, it becomes a dependency. And then somewhere on towards the end thing, it's not only physically dependent, it's mentally, emotionally, and everything dependent. It's their life. It's their new normal. They don't know how to get back where you are. And so now, by this time, it's all hands on deck. The psychologists are involved, and everything's involved. But I use drug addiction, I use opioid addiction and stuff because West Virginia per capita ranks #1 in opioid abuse. And if we as a church cannot put our finger upon that thing that's going on in our communities, and families around us in this church have been affected by heroin abuse, pill abuse. And we need to do something about that. And it's hard if we have a room full of people who have no hope. If we're in a room full of people who say, my life's good, I'm towards the end of my life, or I've got everything straightened out, I don't need all these problems, I'd just rather not deal with it, I'd just rather, live out. If we have a room full of people who'd rather do nothing, then that's just as bad as not having any hope at all. I think as we get into our text today, as it comes to you out of the book of Luke, chapter 18, it talks about a man named Bartimaeus. Familiar with Bartimaeus? You might know him called as blind Bartimaeus. We know Luke 18 is talking about Bartimaeus, even though it doesn't mention his name in this specific text, is because Mark chapter 10, verse 46, says who it is. Mark and Luke, they complement each other, and one gives more detail about the story than the other. That's what I love about the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They all tell the similar stories, but some, they add more perspective to it. So by the time you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you have a total view of the story. And I would encourage you that if you come to a story in Matthew, you look at it in Mark, and Matthew, and Mark, and Luke, and John, and look, compare them. You'll see that there are some details that one of the apostles felt that they needed and the other felt that they didn't. So read those things, but nonetheless, we know this story is talking about Bartimaeus because it mentions him by name. And as we get into this story, if you call yourself a Christian, you have to understand our enemy, the devil, is like a dog on track when it comes to following us around. Because the devil, he doesn't, even when you're in your darkest moments, when you've lost all hope and stuff, he is still there with a hot iron, prying you, prodding you, getting at you. And when you think you've lost all hope and stuff, he don't care. He wants you to lose all. He wants you to lose more than that. He wants you to take your life. He don't want you to be in existence. He don't want you to make any progress anymore. He will tear your family apart. He will cause your kids to go against you. Whatever. I mean, the devil is there like a dog on track. He won't leave you alone. And so faith is something you need, like Jesus had. To look at him and say, get behind me.
Amen.
And, you know, when Jesus did that, now look at how the devil attacked Jesus in his weakest moments. He was hungry. You think you'd be hungry not eating for 40 days? I'm hungry after not eating 1 day. Let alone 40 days. He was hungry. And the first thing the devil did, say, hey, this is food right here, or this is a stone turned into bread, and let's see if you're God's son. He'll do it. And Jesus could have. Jesus could have. But he didn't. He said, I shall live upon every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Basically, in essence. He will live off God's word. That his food was not bread alone, it's by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. That's what Jesus was telling him. But he's going to do anything. Don't you think the devil, when we watched that and seen how a doctor, a man in a professional line of work, goes into a hospital meant to heal and care and all this, and shoot up the place. I had to catch myself. What's this world coming to? And I knew. I said, it's not what this world's coming to, it's where it's going. And God already tells us where it's going. And so, that incident gave birth to an opportunity of people of faith being able to come around those victims of that and provide hope, right? Sometimes you're the only voice of hope. Because you're close enough to the situation, or you're the only person that can talk to this person, because this person doesn't shut everybody else out. You're the only voice of faith that this person may have. So we're so focused on the tragedy that we miss the opportunities of faith. But that's what the devil wants. He wants us to be the victim and not the victor. You know, but so when the attack comes, the attack continues. The devil has a hate sword in his hand, and he's slashing at you left and right, and just wanting you to become bitter with this world. Looking at the world, looking at heaven, saying, take me now, I don't want to be here anymore. And though we groan that within ourselves, that this is just a world we're passing through, there should be a part of us that says we care for the lost. We care. We don't want anybody to go to hell. Why? Because that's the heart of our Father in heaven. Amen. That He gave His one and only Son. Amen. For the whole world. So that it's like a fish net. A drag net, I think fishermen call it. They cast it out and they drag it along in hopes to catch every fish that they cut it on. We need to cast our nets, guys. World Vision gets us out there. Vacation Bible School gets us out there. What can we do to reach the community? How are they hurting? Well, I'll tell you what, how. One of the things Hagans Christian Church becomes, it could continue being a hospital for sinners. It can continue being a place where maybe there's counsel groups for those who are addicted. Because you know what? Guess where Hagans Christian Church is located? On Marion and Mon County line. You know one of the problems why people don't get treatment? Because they can't get there. Places like Morgantown or Fairmont. Guess where Hagans is? Right in the happy middle. And if we could be a place where people can meet and get treatment, not necessarily treatment, but counseling, We're putting our fingers upon what's affecting the community. And if we're doing that, and if we're reaching out, we're a church that are meeting needs. Amen? But the devil don't want us to do that. He's wanting you to create an attitude. Why we need to help these people? Why we need to do that? We need to get out of the way and do what God wants us to do. We need to be a place that helps other people. But nevertheless, the attack goes on. The devil is ruthless. He doesn't care about you. He'll tear you apart, whether it's on, and suddenly, he does it all on Facebook. He does it in your family reunions. He does it at your high school reunions. He does it in your schools, your classrooms. He does it, some people think the teacher's got an agenda against them and whatnot, and I don't know if they do or not, but the devil is all places, all times trying to cause havoc. He don't care about you. Doesn't. We look at Luke 18. It says, "Then it happened as he was coming near Jericho that a certain blind man sat by the road begging. And hearing a multitude passing by, he asked what it meant. So they told him that Jesus of Nazareth was passing by, and he cried out, saying, 'Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me.' Then those who went before warned him that he should be quiet. But he cried out all the more." Now this guy's just now being a pain, isn't he? He cried out all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." So Jesus stood still and commanded that he be brought to him. And when he had come near, he asked him, saying, "What do you want me to do for you?" And he said, "Lord, that I may receive my sight." Then Jesus said to him, "Receive your sight, your faith has made you well." And immediately he received his sight and followed him, glorifying God, and all the people, when they saw it, gave praise to God. First of all, your faith always glorifies God and never glorifies you.
Amen. Amen.
When you walk in faith, when Abraham, our forefathers, when they walked in faith, they did it to glorify God, not themselves. They didn't, you know how someone's sweet talking the boss just to get the position or a promotion or whatnot. No, you don't use your faith to get promotion in God. You use your faith to glorify Him for who He is and what He's already done in your life. And what He's, with all things, with faith, with God, all things are possible. Knowing that you glorify God, you never glorify yourself. So first of all, if your faith is about you, it's the wrong kind of faith.
That's right. Amen.
You got to have faith in God. Okay? But one of the things that stood out to me in this is that Bartimaeus didn't have to go through boot camp, faith boot camp. He didn't have to go through 3 months of Bible reading. He didn't have to do 12 laps around the church, attend the church for 40 years. He didn't have to be a saint. He didn't have to do X, Y, and O. Jesus didn't send him back saying, "Bartimaeus, until you know the Word of God from Genesis to now, I can't do nothing for you, buddy." He didn't say none of that. But you know what? We as Christians think we have to jump through a bunch of hoops just to get God to hear us, or just to get God to heal us, or get God to do something for us. And God's all the while standing by, waiting to do something for you. But you think you've got to be a saint. You think you've got to read the Bible all the time, or from front to cover and know it heart to heart. Listen, there are things we need to do to water our faith, so to speak, to keep our faith growing. And we come to church. I tell people we go to grow. Okay? I don't sit on a pew as a potato. I don't do nothing. I don't not read my Bible at the house and stuff. I don't. We all face challenges that challenge our faith, and faith, it grows. Listen. We've got to have a different perspective. We know that the devil's going to attack us, right? Mm-hmm. We know we have to have faith because the Bible says it's impossible to please God without it. And we know that the Bible also says that when trials and challenges and temptations come, it's like putting your faith to the fire. Okay? Because when you're first born again, you're a babe in Christ, and you need that faith refined and developed. and grown, okay? So it's like when you take gold out of the hillside for the first time. It's all clumped together with other impurities until they put it to the fire and burn the gold out and the impurities out and stuff. And then it becomes a better type of gold, a purer sense, okay? So then those challenges in your life right now is your faith being put to the fire. But at the end of the challenge, you can't see this now, and you don't see it then. But when your faith comes out, it becomes a better faith because you applied it. And that's what challenges are for. But it stuck out to me how blind Bartimaeus didn't have to do a bunch of things to get healed. This was a simple faith, guys. You need to see it for what it is and don't add anything to it. Jesus simply said, what do you want me to do? He says, heal my son. And there's a reason he asked that question. You know, it's interesting to me when you're blind. Everybody close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Don't be looking around. Everybody close your eyes. Your brain automatically pays attention to what you hear. And then if you're permanently blind, your senses of touch and smell and taste also increase. All right, you can open up your eyes. I don't want anybody to All right, now listen. This is Bartimaeus' life. He couldn't see. He's leaning up, he's sitting up against the wall, and all of a sudden he might have felt the shivering of the ground, the vibrations on the ground. He's listening, because that's all he has. He's hearing the commotion. People are moving around, a lot of people, and some things are being said, and he's like, hey, who's coming? He had to ask, right? So he asked, right? Say ask.
Ask.
He asked. Some of us don't even ask. We don't ask God for prayer, but yet the Bible says we have not because we ask not.
Amen.
And the Bible also says that when we pray, the reason we don't get what we need is because we pray amiss, the Bible says. It says that we pray without faith, basically. We pray in a way that's not genuine. Okay? So the Bible has a lot to say about this. But here's blind Bartimaeus, and his senses are increased, and he's feeling, he's listening, he's asking, what's going on? And they tell him that Jesus of Nazareth was passing by. Here's the parallel I'm trying to draw with you this morning. I'm trying to tell you that this morning, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. I tell you that every Sunday. Pastor Rick tells you about that. I tell you about it on Wednesday. Jesus of Nazareth is passing by Hagans Christian Church this morning. And your faith says, Son of David, have mercy on me. Amen. And then, like Bartimaeus, you can receive something. And so that's the parallels we draw with this story. That if you don't come expecting from God each and every time you have an opportunity to meet Him, you could miss out. You're missing out. You're just existing. There's just a couple of points, and I'll be brief on it with Jesus, with this story and Bartimaeus. Point number one: when you can't see a thing, you can still listen and respond. Bartimaeus couldn't see a thing in your problem, in your drama. You might not be able to see anything else but that. And when you can't see anything, you can still listen and you can still respond like Bartimaeus did. He could have not got up. He could have not inquired about what's going on. Every time we hear a testimony about how God entered into a person's life, healed them or saved them or done something for them on a supernatural level, we got to understand that is Jesus passing by. And at this point in the ministry, Jesus' ministry, there was a lot of supernatural things going on. A lot of healing going on. This was towards the end of his 3-year ministry. And so he was doing a lot of healing. And for Jesus to be in a crowd of hundreds, thousands, for him to hear Bartimaeus and say, hold on, I just recognized some faith. Remember the woman that touched the hem of his garment? Had an issue of blood for, I think, 12 years. And she sought healing, right? And she went through the crowds and got to Jesus and touched the hem of his garment. Her faith drove her, right? And she touched the hem of his garment and he just, who touched me? And the disciples were like, what do you mean you touched you? Look at all these people. What are we? The touching police? I don't know. What's going on? We don't know. And then Jesus I can picture, Jesus is turning around and he doesn't take long to look around at the faces when he sees them. And he recognizes a face of faith. He says, be of good cheer, woman, your faith has made you whole. Amen. Listen, it's the same in Bartimaeus' case. Jesus stops because he hears the voice of faith amongst everybody else and his entourage. I kind of think of it like the President of the United States. There were people going ahead of him saying, okay, JC's coming. And they're kind of keeping the crowd at bay, They've come across this 100 times, and here's another nut wanting Jesus' attention. Won't you just be quiet? The Bible says that they called this man Bartimaeus, right? Won't you just be quiet? And then he got louder. And then, they're probably communicating, watch this guy, he's getting nutty. And so they're protecting Jesus kind of thing because they don't want him trampled upon and whatnot. And then all of a sudden says, hey, get that guy and bring that guy right here. And think the guys that were complaining about say, yeah, he's just thinking about that. And because they didn't want to be looking bad, And they brought this guy, and the Bible says they led him to Jesus. And then it says he came near. Bartimaeus came near. So I'm envisioning they brought him to Jesus like they would a blind man, And then they stopped shortly before getting to Jesus. And it's like Bartimaeus took a few more steps to come nearer to Jesus. And sometimes in your traumatic event, people faith will lead you in faith and say, pray about this and stuff. Go to church, be around, talk to Pastor Rick, or talk to Pastor Isaac, or Elder Plum, or talk to one of the deacons and stuff. They might tell you, lead you to a certain point. But then when you get there's at some point you have to do it for yourself. There is at some point that you've got to take a few steps closer to Jesus because no one can do that for you. No one can make you get up any earlier to read a few scriptures. No one can make you hit your knees and pray to God. But they can talk to you about praying. They can talk to you about the importance of establishing a reading habit of God's Word to get the Word of God into you. They can talk to you about all these things, but they can't do it for you. And they couldn't do it for Bartimaeus. They couldn't do it for this woman that had an issue of blood. And that tells me all the way throughout Scripture is, okay, you're here at church. Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. And at the end of every service, we have somewhat of an altar call or opportunity for you to ask God to come closer and experience each other and stuff. And you know what? That's up to you. I don't care how good the pastor preached, how good the songs were or were not. I don't care what it is. It is up to you. To take those steps when you can't see a thing, a little closer, like Bartimaeus did. To throw through the crowd, like this woman with the issue of blood, and get down. Maybe she fell, and she had one last reach, and she reached for the hem of his garment. Sometimes in our midst of trials and temptations, we're on the ground, we're taking our dying breaths. And we have one reach, and she had hers, and sometimes we feel like this. But this is, in Bartimaeus, I truly believe this was a pivotal point in the story. I don't think he was calling out to some generic Jesus that he just heard about. No. This Bartimaeus was a Jew. And for Bartimaeus to step out and say, "Son of David, have mercy on me." When he said that, it's the same thing when you say, "I'm a sinner bought by grace. I want to be baptized in the Christian faith." You're identifying with Christ. Okay? So Bartimaeus identified with Christ. And when you do that, back in that day, when this was a new thing going on, this Jesus thing, this Jesus movement, all these things going on, when you identified with the faith, you were ousted from family, everything. They didn't like that. So he stepped out and he was identifying himself with Christ. The last point, we only had two in this message, is when you call out to Jesus, Jesus calls out to you. And we have to understand that Jesus is ready to meet us where we're at. You know, even amongst all the noisy people, Jesus heard the words of faith. And when he hears the words mingled with faith, he'll listen to you. And they told him, like I told you before, they told him to shut up. So that tells me when you're trying to stand in faith, there's going to be some obstacles. People will try to tell you, shut up. And it's interesting to me, as we're starting to close out this message this morning, it's interesting to me that when Bartimaeus came, Jesus says, it's like coming to you, Jeff, and Jesus saying, "Jeff, what do you need?" And just, I don't know, maybe Jeff would have had, "Duh. My eyes, I need healing." So I like looking into things and reading between them. So I had to ask myself, Jesus, why did you ask Bartimaeus what he wanted?
He already knew.
Yeah, he already knew he wanted healed. But here's what Jesus was saying by asking the question. There's a lot more going on in your life, Bartimaeus, than you being blind. But I want to know, what do you want? And what that told me to tell you is that God took care of Isaac's immediate problems, like my mouth. You know, when I first got saved, he took care of my mouth. He took care of I didn't like to read. I didn't like school. And to read the Bible, God had to take that from me. God had to take the lack of desire to read and put the desire to read in my heart, to hunger for His Word. And He did. God had to get me over the thoughts of hypocrites in the church and commitment to the church and stuff, regardless of things you hear, see, and do. So there's some things that God gets rid of immediately, right? But sometimes you may be blind, but there's a more deeper issue you need to take care of. And so that's why Jesus asked the question, Bartimaeus, what do you want me to do? So as you stand with me, I can imagine the scene as Bartimaeus is led to Jesus, and all of a sudden, they stop leading him, and he takes those few extra steps closer. By this time, listen, the crowd is silent. Everybody's quiet. It's hush time now. Because everybody's eager to see what Jesus is about to do. They've seen it numerous times before, and now here comes another miracle. And this time, you know, you was able to bring Grandma and Uncle and Aunt and stuff, and now they're with you. So you could show, hey, this Jesus you're talking about, it's not a hoax. He's getting ready to do something. So all paying attention. They're all paying attention here. And it's hush time. And Bartimaeus gets closer. And Jesus asks him that question, what do you want me to do for you? And Bartimaeus says, I want you to heal my sight. And the Bible goes on to say that Bartimaeus went on following him and praised him from that point on. Sometimes we get saved and the circumstances of life beat on us and it causes us to lose hope. We go a bunch of church hopping Because, we're not satisfied with this, we're not satisfied with that, we have a hard time falling our place, and the devil makes us spiritual gypsies, and we never really settle in and root in and really become a resourceful help to our body of believers, and we don't, all these things happen, and God understands where you're at. God understands why you lost hope. God understands that sometimes our faith is shaken. But now, you're a blind Bartimaeus who's just taken their couple steps closer to Jesus. And now you have an opportunity to say, hey, here I am. And if God's asking, what do you want me to do for you? He's asking you this morning, what do you want me to do for you? What would be your answer? I'd like to have more money, God. I'd like to do something with this spouse of mine. I can't never get along with it. God, I want, these things are always, okay? These things are always. We all like better lives. But can we ask God what we need? Maybe you need some anger out of you. Maybe God needs to come in and take some things out of you and stuff. So let's approach God with that heart. Amen. Where do you want me to do? As the song sings, the altar's open, and we're here to pray with you and for you. But we're not doing it for you in this sense. We're not going to do it for you. You're going to do it. You just here